This is the YC Onion Energy Tube, a $90 RGB tube light. And in a majority of these shots, I didn't have this light much brighter than about 40%. The final shot being the exception, because to cut all the ambient light I had in my studio at the time, I had to stop my camera down to about f7.1. So I ended up setting this light at about 100%, about 5 to 6 feet away. I'll talk more about that last shot in a minute, because I did something kind of different to get that specific spill of light. It's a smaller light at about 11 inches long, and if that's not long enough for you, this light is actually designed to hook multiple lights together with these quick attachment slots at the end of each side of the light. Even 2 of these lights together is a little bit cheaper than the 2-foot Nanolight Pavo tube, which is also a really good light. Of course, you have the quarter mount on the bottom if you want to mount it on something like a mini tripod or a light stand. Speaking of light stands, I actually used one with this light shooting that opening sequence, but maybe not in the way you think. The energy tube actually has a magnetic back. So what I did was I simply slapped this on an extension arm so it could float directly above overhead the typewriter. Reading off specs can be a bit boring, especially in a video. So here are the basic specs of this light right here. Okay, now what I want to highlight here is that they've actually included this green and magenta shift functionality in the light. So if you have a camera that tends to introduce a bit of magenta into the image like some of them do, you can easily compensate for it. YC Onion also has an app that you can use to control the light. So this app is available on both Android and iOS. Now I'm using iOS here because I'm here on my iPad. I've already downloaded the app, so we'll just start it up. And you have the list of all the different products that YC Onion makes that works with this app. And we're going to scroll till we find the energy tube. We'll click that. Now it's asking us to make sure the device is on. Make sure the app has permission to access Bluetooth, which I've already done. Start searching. And there it is, the serial number of my light. Press that. There it is. Now, if you have an update for this light, and as a matter of fact, when I previously used this app, there was an update out for the energy tube. You'll just have a button there that says update. You hit that, the light will update and then restart. But since I've already done that update, we'll just click start. And here we go with the main app here. Now it's a little bit different than some of the apps I've seen before. I actually really kind of like this app. So you've got this big swatch of color here. You can just click on it to pick the color that you want. Now, what I will do is this little sub menu down here, and I can click parameter. And now I've got my sliders so I can control the brightness as well. I could control the hue of the light, but you can still press in here and you can see the sliders will update depending on where you pressed. But again, you can still control the brightness here. Slide the screen up, and now you have some preset colors, which you can change if you want to. So we have this sort of reddish color. We have kind of a green, another flavor of green. I guess kind of a bluish green color. There's more of a traditional blue, kind of a pinky purple. All right, we can switch to the next screen here by swiping. And now we have our color temperature. Again, we can go to the parameters, and now we can set the color temperature that we want, the brightness that we want, and then we have the green and magenta shift if you need to make some corrections to your light depending on the camera or the lighting situation that you've got. And this is interesting. So if you found the exact color that you want and you wanted to actually share that with someone, share, and now you have a QR code with that exact brightness, hue, and saturation level. And you have a scan button. That QR code that you just came up with, you could scan into here and set it to maybe another energy tube that you have, so you make sure that all the energy tubes are exactly the same brightness, exactly the same color. So off to the next screen here. And now we have our different lighting effects. Right now it's set to lightning. Scroll up. There we have a breathing white light, breathing warm light. There's a quick gradient, blue and green flash of the police car. You can see that there's a whole bunch of special effects that you've got in here that you can kind of scroll through. And again, you can hit the parameter button from that sub menu and you can set the brightness of it or the frequency. Now, I mentioned before you have presets that you can also save in here that you could scroll through if you wanted to. So let's say, for example, I had this nice blue color and I want to save that as a preset. Just hit that sub menu, preset, add. And now I have that as one of my presets, and there it is right there. And again, you can scroll through all the different presets that you've got. And let's scroll to mine that I just made, which was this one right here. Let's say you have a color that you found that you want to make your light exactly match. So this is just the International Klein Blue image from Wikipedia. What you would do is click the eyedropper tool. That starts up the camera of your app. And there we go. I'm now right on top of that blue. Click select. And boom, my light is set to that. I actually really like this app. It seems fairly useful. It's very easy to go about picking the different colors that you want to set your light to, and you can dial in exactly what you want. And I like the idea that you can save different preset colors. Just a real nicely thought out app. So it's nothing for lights like this to have built-in batteries. Battery technology has improved over the years, but there's no avoiding the fact that eventually your batteries are going to wear out and eventually not be able to hold much of a charge. With that in mind, I love what YC Onion has done here. The battery that they have inside these lights is just a standard 18650 battery. You can easily swap these things out yourself. You can easily pick up one of the highly rated Samsung 18650s pretty much anywhere for about $10 or so. Of course, you can also power this thing with a USB battery bank, but that combo can tend to get a little unwieldy. I love the idea that you could just have a pocket full of these batteries and then just swap them out in between shoots as necessary. You've got two function dials on the side of the light. You actually have a on and off switch. That's becoming a little rare these days as most folks are just going with a soft button for power. Personally, I prefer to having a switch. So many lights of this type have a little display screen, but all too often they're actually super dim. This isn't an issue with the Energy Tube. We have a nice, big, bright screen. Now that may seem like a little thing, but trust me, when you're in the middle of a shoot, you're going to quickly appreciate how easy it is to see the screen on this thing. It has a really nice build quality with a combination of metal and plastic, and it just feels substantial holding it in your hands. I've seen some images online for a couple of accessories for this, including a softbox and a honeycomb attachment. Unfortunately, I can't find these things for sale anywhere. It may be that YC Onion hasn't gotten around to releasing these out in the market yet. So if you've seen them for sale anywhere, please let me know down in the comments below, because I think both of those accessories would be amazing to use for this light. I wanted to circle back to that final shot in the opening sequence because this light was ideal for what I was trying to accomplish. I wanted the typewriter to be surrounded in darkness with just the light falling on the typewriter itself. But I also wanted the light to move across it in a narrow beam. Now, the light itself couldn't accomplish this alone. There'd be too much light spill. That's where this stuff comes in. This is cinefoil, and it's one of the most useful light modifiers you can get. I just ripped a piece off and molded it around the light, so I just had this long, thin beam of line coming out of the Energy Tube. Then, handheld, I just slowly moved the light over the scene. The combination of cinefoil and the Energy Tube, you can pull off some really interesting lighting possibilities. Now, if you're interested in getting some of this cinefoil, I'll have a link for it down below in the description. Now, I do have a negative about this light. All of YC Onion's products have these really great names based on food, like the chocolate mini slider, the peach quick release adapter, the pudding LED light. But Energy Tube? I mean, what about something like the cucumber light, the carrot light, the blood sausage light? This was a missed opportunity, YC Onion, come on. The point I'm trying to get across in this video is that you do not need to spend a ton of money to produce quality imagery. So many of us suffer from GAS, which is gear acquisition syndrome. If you love gear and can afford it, then by all means, spend to your heart's content. But don't fall into the trap of blaming the gear for the quality of your content. This opening sequence to this video wasn't perfect. It has some issues, but it was all shot easily in less than an hour using this inexpensive light. The camera was a Sony a6300, a budget APS-C camera, which you can find used for about $500. The lens was a Sigma 16mm 1.4. Again, you should be able to find that for about $300 used. So for around $900, you can get some pretty good looking shots. I hope you found this video useful. I try to highlight good quality gear on this channel that's priced within the reach of most folks' budget, and I think the YC Onion Energy Tube certainly falls into that category. If you've got any questions about this light, just again, let me know down in the comments. That's all I've got for you today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch. Have a good one.